Good evening. Tonight, doing something a little bit different. This morning I reviewed the 75 top stocks on the ASX, and there was not one of them which was at a buy point. Having watched what happened on the ASX today, a lot of you might not be surprised. So rather than talking about an individual stock, I thought I would talk about something more basic to your investing, the choices you make as an investor, which is to ask the question, while most investment advisors that you might listen to, either paid investment advisors or the kind of unpaid advice that you'll see on YouTube channels, most of those advisors will periodically suggest that you develop a watch list. Watch list is a list of stocks that you are considering investing in. The question a lot of these advisors won't likely explain to you when they talk to you about a watch list is, what are you watching for exactly? And that's the subject of tonight's short video. And as an example, I'm using Cube. QUB is the ticker code on the ASX. And here are the QUB fundamentals. Fundamentals are the place that you would start in assessing a stock. So a few significant fundamentals here. You can see that the market capitalisation is 7.25 billion. This is a real company. One of the tenets that you will see observed in the stocks that we cover at BuyPointASX is that we're only covering the ASX 300. The rationale of that is that if you have a company with a market capitalisation of anything like $1 billion or more, there are a lot of people whose full-time job it is to try to ensure that the company is profitable. So if you want to spend your time doing your own fundamental analysis, well, that's fine. But our suggestion is that an easier way of approaching it is to say that you will only invest in stocks on the ASX 300. And what that does is to lower the number of choices you have to invest. The philosophy behind that is that the more you refine the set of stocks from which you are deciding on stocks on which you will invest or in which you will invest, the less likely you are to make a mistake. There are other elements of the philosophy behind that strategy, but we won't go into it here. So you can see that Cube Holdings is a provider of import and export logistics, comprising two units, Cube Logistics and Infrastructure and Cube Ports and Bulk. Here's the next fundamental element of a stock, or the reporting on a stock that you might have reference to in deciding whether or not it's a stock in which you want to invest. Again, part of the fundamental philosophy behind BuyPointASX is that if you're going to invest in a stock, it's a good idea to invest in stocks which have a long history of success. You can see here a very attractive price action chart for Cube, showing that it has enjoyed more than 15 years of relatively steady growth, black swan events like COVID notwithstanding. Here is another fundamental element of a company that you would want to have reference to before deciding to invest in the company. These are the financials. You can see the earnings and you can see return on equity. The significance of the earnings and the return on equity will vary from company to company, but what you would want to see is that at the time that you're investing in the company, that is now, the company is in a healthy financial position. So here you have 3 years of steady growth in revenue and 3 years of steady growth in return on equity. And here is the point at which you make the decision to invest in a stock. The fundamental idea behind BuyPointASX is that the MACD, this chart down here, is the single most reliable indicator of when to buy into a stock. And the basic idea is that it is at these points down here below this zero line where the signal line, the blue line, cuts up into and through the orange line, the MACD line, moving upwards. So the blue line is moving upwards and the orange line is moving down. What you also see on the price action line is 3 more fundamental indicators, being the 20-day simple moving average in red, the 90-day simple moving average in green, and the 200-day simple moving average in black. And it is through interpretation of multiple technical indicators that, according to the methodology we're using, you are able to identify a good time to buy into a stock. The thing that you will observe very readily here is that not every point at which the signal line cuts upwards through the MACD line is going to be an optimal time to start investing in the stock. These two, this one, they were not optimal times to invest in the stock. But you'll see that here, this point was indeed the perfect opportunity to invest in this stock. If you had invested in the stock at, what's that, about $2.70, you would have seen 80% growth over the course of the last year. Here is a closer look at a recent buy point. Here's the buy point down here, and you can see here the 200-day moving average, the 90-day moving average, and the much more fluid 20-day simple moving average. This is the granularity that you can get to in determining whether or not you're going to act on one of these buy points. My recommendation is that this is the ideal time in terms of a combination of certainty of continued upward growth and the price point being the lowest it can be before the difference between the signal line and the MACD line has gone into the green. And you can see that if you had bought into the stock at this point, that you would have been able to sit back and watch this growth. So when you are looking at the stocks on your watch list, this is what you're looking for, a buy point indicator. And it is the philosophy of BuyPointASX that once you understand the interrelation between the MACD indicated buy point and various other technical factors or technical indicators and fundamentals of the company, you're going to be in a situation to make profitable decisions about when to invest in the companies that other people might have suggested you start to watch. That's it for today. We're back to straight buy point analysis tomorrow. There is a stock that will be at a buy point tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. And here's the disclaimer.